The eyes of the world were on China for US President Richard Nixon's groundbreaking trip in February 1972. And it's likely that diplomats at the United Nations back in New York City were paying close attention. Because months before Nixon set foot in Beijing, the General Assembly had already taken the key step of officially recognizing the People's Republic of China as the only lawful representative of China at the UN, expelling Taiwan.
What mainly paved the way for the Nixon visit, I think, was the general sense that the Beijing government was here to stay. It represented a large portion of humankind. It was a nuclear weapons state, as were the other 4 permanent members of the Security Council.
Its role soon began to grow. DIRK SALOMONS worked for the UN Development Programme in the early 70s. He remembers seeing the first signs of change.
They were taking up a number of strategic posts, for example, in economic planning. You suddenly saw some Chinese faces. And you see how they brought in this Chinese large-scale experience of rural transformation in early days, which helped us think about things.
China also began to play a part in forming areas of UN policy by sharing what it had learnt from its experience with famine.
Just at that time, UN, for the first time, it may be related, began to say famine is not a matter of food lacking, it's a matter of people not having access to food, it's poverty. So at that same time, China changing and UN taking poverty approach, to my view, was no accident, but the beginning of the realization here is a country with millions of people becoming very important, and let's look at their experience and what we can learn from this and pick up some of that attitude.
Nowadays, China is a very vocal member of the United Nations General Assembly and Security Council, and it's the second biggest contributor to the UN budget. But experts say the seeds of China's influence here today were planted in the early 1970s, which proved to be a pivotal moment not just for China in the US, but also for the UN. Sarah Walton, CGTN, New York.